Alright, this is the beginning of episode 3. So let's save our game. It's always good. I don't think I've saved it, it's just done some auto saves. And we still need more of these power floors. As I keep saying in the previous episodes, we need lots of power floors, so we're going to get started with that. So what we can see here is we need 90 Kindlevine stems here. We're almost there, we've got 80. So we are going to just keep letting this go for a little bit, and I can see, oops, I missed some of my cranks. So let's get some of these cranks going, and in fact, these are all running down on time, so while we are here, let's just re-crank all these. Eventually, it's going to be better. We are not going to have to manually crank them. Alright. But while we're making these, I think we're just going to need some more power, so let's just get a little bit more going, and let's clear out a little bit more space. Alright, this will give us space for a little bit more of these, or a few more crank generators. Alright, and by now I'm hoping... Oh, I forgot I built a staircase here. I can just climb right up there. Alright, we have our stems, and in fact, now that we have those stems, I'm actually just going to delete that. We don't really want that there. I'm going to get these going. I don't need plant matter, or I don't need the Kindlevine stems in my inventory, so I'm just going to put those in the other threshers. So now we have everything we need for production Terminal Victor. This first upgrade, so let's get going and do that. Now, if we really wanted to, we could set up a system where we automatically feed all the stuff into Victor. It's not really necessary, so I usually just do it manually. And now we have everything we need, so we'll hit Repair Terminal.
Terminal upgraded.
And let's see what
New
we
technologies
have next.
and recommended tasks available.
It's time to do a bit of exploring and take things to the next level with those threshers, Breaker. Now that you have Kindlevine stems, you'll need to thresh them a second time to make plant matter fiber. And then you can either use the fiber to handcraft the plant matter frames, or build an assembler to do it twice as fast. And if you haven't found assemblers yet, keep working on unlocking more signals, or go for a walk on your own. You never know what you might come across.
Local signal deciphered. Ingress HA1976. Report to production terminal Victor for triangulation.
Alright, so while we're getting through all that narration, I'm actually going to take some of this extra plant matter that I had laying around. We're going to get back here, because if you remember, we were almost out of fuel over here in the back. Again, we don't really need to have this production going at Lima, but it's nice, and you'll see in a little bit, probably in this episode, why I want to keep this going. Let's just give this 1, 2, 3. That should be plenty. If you hit sort, it'll just organize it nicely. We'll go back over here. Let's get the rest of the plant matter in here. Yeah, this one was running out. Okay. So now on the production on the bottom right, we're almost... Oops, I should grab the iron here. Did I grab the iron? I don't think I did. There we go. We've got all that iron, we have all that copper, and then let's get, of course, a bunch of these floors. We're going to need those. And now let's also hit T. Let's see... Okay, we need this technology, Crank Connect. Let's go back to our crank generators, and you will see what I mean. We're still building a couple more crank generators in the bottom. Those are going to be so useful for us. And we're going to place the last couple, and that'll give us probably all the power we need for now. Continue to gather plant matter fiber. Alright, so let's scroll over here. Let's get ready to place our last couple of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have just a couple seconds left. Nope, we don't need to clear out any more space. It's almost done making this last one. Here we go. Now you see, now these are all connected, so researching Crank Connect, as long as they're all placed on the same centerline axis, now they're all connected. So when I hit E and then activate Crank, they're all connected together, which is really nice. activate crank. So now all of these are all producing power together. So I only have to click the crank thing once, and eventually we're not going to have to press it at all. Alright, we have more of our power floors here, so let's just fill in this space. We're still producing more power floors, that's always good. We're going to continue to fill in more space here. There we go. Alright. Just another couple there. So we have lots of this Kindlevine extract. In fact, we might be putting it in too slow. We're producing a total of 90 per minute, and oops, of course I fell down. We only have, we're gonna have to loop this around. Actually, no, we have fast inserters now, so let's do that. So fast inserters, they require power. You can see the bottom left, 2 kilowatts, and these do 40 items per minute, so they double the speed. So between the 2 fast inserters now, we're getting 80 items put away. And then this gives us a total of 120 items per minute, so we should now be fully clearing out these queues and getting all of that stuff put away. Alright, now let's also hit T. Let's just see everything we've unlocked here. We don't actually have any of the research cores we need, so we're going to get to that here in just a second. We'll get to some of these technologies. What we really want is we want the assembler. So we're just going to have to make some cores by hand. So we'll get some of these cores going by hand, because we really need to research the assembler. And while that's researching, we might as well start to clear out some area here by our copper. And I'm just going to keep us all on the same level here. So this is actually going to be, the copper is going to be on the same level as the iron. So we're going to clear out the floor here. And again, now you can see why having this coolant is so nice, because I don't have to worry about the mole overheating. Alright. It turns out this copper vein is actually massive, which is great, but it is going to take a second to uncover it all here. So we'll do that. In fact, we can look at the map and we can see just how big this copper vein is. It actually extends all the way over there. Alright, so we have almost enough space here cleared out. In fact, I think this is plenty of space. So let's get some more power floors down. Oh, maybe a little bit more space over here. Alright, so we want more drillers. So let's get these mining machines going. This is as close as we can place them this way, so this will work. So let's do 1, 2, 3, and 4. And by now, I think you probably know exactly how I'm going to do this. I'm just going to make my smelting line here. So this is the line for all the ore. And do I have any more smelters? I do. Let's get these. We'll place them 1, 2, 3, and 4. And let's see, my copper output line. I'm going to have my copper output line going this way. And then my fuel line is going to go this way. And let's just clear this out a little bit more. And then my fuel line here, of course, needs to come. I like the way I build my stuff, so I tend to just do it the same way over and over. You may notice when I stand on top of the belts, I don't move along them. If you go to settings, I have the belt riding turned off. If I turn that on, I'm going to move along these belts. I really don't like that option, so oops, settings. I have belt riding turned off. I think it's just a little bit annoying. Oops, so 5. Let's try to get this to snap the right way. Here we go. And this one, again, it's not connecting. We can just hit R until it does. And we'll then then build our next one. Sometimes you just have to be at the right angle to get things the way you want them. Alright. And so we'll bring our fuel in this way. And let's figure out the right way we want to do it. We'll have our a little container for our fuel over here. So that means I need to clear out a little bit of space here. You can see just how much plant matter or fiber I have in my inventory now. That's just from clearing out all these plants along along the ground there. So it picks up really quick when you do it like that. We want our fuel line to go this way because I have the fuel line traveling that way. And if I bring it up like this, now it's going to split everything out. That's perfect. Just clear a little bit more space to put our container that's going to have all of our plant matter. Alright. And so now let's get all of our inserters set up. And if you notice, I did this a little dumb. We'll bring our iron out, or our copper out. Also, that noise, that was all these turning off. So at the beginning of the game, unfortunately, you have to just keep going back to the crank generators to activate those. So we'll quickly go back to get those going. So this is going to be our copper output. And let's just move this that way. Alright, so we'll put this here. We have our everything leading in there, so this is going to be our copper coming out of the smelters. Oh, I'm out of inserters. And in fact, I have just enough long inserters, so all I need is to make some regular inserters here, and we need a whole bunch. All these probably require 20 or so. So this is the output, my copper coming out. Alright. And while we're making more inserters, let's do the long inserters. This is my fuel coming in. So again, I use the long inserters so that they can reach across and grab from that second belt. And then I'm not putting, again, I'm intentionally not putting fuel in here yet just because I like it all to kind of filter through at once. So now we have more inserters. We need inserters for the fuel, so 1, 2, 3, 4, pulling in fuel. And then we need inserters bringing ore in. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see, gosh, we just need so many inserters. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get going. Just a few more here. It's really the mechanical components that take some time here, so eventually that's going to be one of the first things we automate is mechanical components. Alright, so we just need 8 more inserters now, 4 for 1 for each, or 2 for each of the 4 miners here. And as soon as I have these 2, I guess I'll put in the fuel so we can get started. But I also need more inserters here. You can see just how many inserters we really need. So now we have fuel going. The fuel is going to go in. This is the first one that's going to get fuel, so we better have output going there. And this is the next one that's going to probably get some fuel. Yep. So we see all of our fuel slowly filtering out here. Alright. These are putting ore on the line, and this is the last one that's going to... Actually, no, we already have, so we're done. We have all of our inserters now. It's just going to... Oh, and we need to connect our fuel line. Delete that. There. So now this travels along here. These are going to appropriately pick up. We might start backing up a little bit. Also, I made this line just a little bit too long. Eventually we'll probably have some more. Just get that in there. Alright. So it's going to take a second to get all the fuel out, so let's just add more of these inserters. Alright, so now we have copper production, which we need. Because if we look at the top here, or the top left, we need 2,400 iron ingots, 2,400 copper ingots, and 190 plant matter frames. Now we also have more of these research cores. I happen to know if we do a little bit more exploring, that is going to bode well for us. Now also, here's something else. We can scan all of these. We need to scan 8 of them. These are called accumulators. So if we press P, if we look at our power network, right now we're consuming about 1,500 kilowatts and we're producing 2,400 kilowatts. We have some excess, and that goes in this accumulator charge. So, you know, P. Power is, of course, energy over time. These accumulators store raw energy. So we have kilowatts, that's joules per second, and then we have joules here, or in this case, megajoules. These accumulators just store extra power for us. So when our crank generators turn off because we forget to go re-crank them, no, it's actually going to tap into the accumulated power before all the machines actually turn off. So now we've uncovered accumulators. These scan a lot faster. So this one was called an accumulator substation, if you remember what she told us earlier, Sparks. And that's why the signal here is, it was called signal AS for accumulator substation. We're just going to scan all of this. There's another high voltage line. The reason we're doing this is just scanning these gives us parts. So let's go through here. We have this. We can get, ooh, that's a lot of power for us. Wish I had known about that one earlier.
If anyone else is still around, they wouldn't be here. These places were pretty much built and left alone.
Another blue research core. Another technology. That one is mole speed 2, so we'll dig a little bit faster. This one is really useful. This is the hover pack. Let's see, what do we have in here? Some more crank generators. And we can actually scan this computer to get a little bit more dialogue.
This sector was a dream come true for hydroelectric power. It isn't surprising that we took accumulator construction seriously down here. I faintly remember power sources in other sectors that were even stronger, but they also tended to do things like explode, set things on fire, create giant clouds of poison. You get the drift.
Sparks loves to talk.
Can't go wrong with a good old-fashioned river.
So we see our power network, we're barely producing, we're actually not producing enough power, and so we can see our accumulator charge going down. But then, oops, as we reactivate the cranks, now we're producing excess power and we're going to get more charge in these accumulators. So now we can see these is this one I didn't scan? Yep, didn't scan him. These accumulators are starting to fill up. So this one's actually charging very, very slowly. Or is one of the other ones charging? Here we go. We see this guy charging. I think I can scan him. Yep. So he is charging. He's filling up with power because we have excess power. So we're storing a little bit of energy here. And eventually we're going to get to use that energy when we forget to crank fast enough. So let's see. What are we doing here? We don't quite have enough fuel coming out on the line yet. It's not saturated, but we will get there eventually. Alright, so oh yeah, that's right. We are going to try to figure out how can we automate placing down some of these purple research cores. So to do that, we're just actually going to dig straight out the back here. This is going to get us back to the river. Alright, we are through. So we are going to keep exploring up the river, actually. There is going to be more stuff to scan along here, so we have some more assemblers to scan. These are just going to give us parts. Parts are always good right now, because we have to handcraft everything till it's all automated. So let's, you know what, I'm going to... New stuff to scan? Something here was scanning. Oh. There we go. Alright, so as always, we want more plant matter, so I'm just going to gather a lot of this as we're moving along.
Fun fact, Breaker. Before they adjusted our suits for them, those creeper plants used to reach out and try to grab anybody who walked by. Got so common that it became a rite of passage for people who joined Deep Recon. Spaghetti got her call sign off of it.
So that was just another piece of tech that we unlocked, but we don't really need it right now. So we're just going to keep moving this way, and we are to the second base to explore here. This one has some useful stuff. This has a core composer, so we're going to learn about the core composer.
Scanning that core composer fragment seems to have given you a free one in your inventory. Drop it down whenever you get the space and power to make it work. After that, you'll be able to dump cores into it and never worry about placing them one at a time again.
So what I'm scanning now, these are water wheels. These are what's going to automate the production of power for us, which is super useful. And there is a third blue research core. So we're at 3 out of 4, almost there. With our high voltage cable. Let's see, what else is here? Another
The
high
sooner you
voltage
scan these
cable.
water wheels, the closer you'll be to never having to turn a crank generator again.
There's
We should
lots
check
of
out that
stuff to
office,
scan
too.
here, but let's see. So this door, yep, that door is stuff we cannot do yet. However, we can still get inside.
I like the way you think, Breaker. Why fix the door when the ceiling is wide open?
Lots of tech fragments in here. Accumulation, cool dents. None of this is stuff that I think we actually need right now, but while we're here, we'll grab it. And
If this rock had fallen on the facility from above, the protection zone around the structure would have held it in place until it could either be pushed away or drilled apart. For it to have punched through like this, the weight would have had to slowly penetrate the protection zone over... Honestly, I don't know how long. A lot longer than we were going to be here.
Alright, so we have scanned what we wanted, which was that core composer, and we got everything in that base there. We don't even need to unlock that door, actually, which is intentional. They want you to jump over that. You know what, while we're here, there was a couple more assemblers back here. Let's just scan these, and as always, we are gathering our plant matter fiber as we go. Alright. All sorts of plant matter to gather here. There we go. Alright. We'll go back. So we have this new thing called the core composer, and that's going to make it a lot easier for us to place down our research cores. And so in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you now why we haven't gotten rid of all of our stuff at Production Terminal Lima, that first one. It's because we're actually going to use that to build our first automated research cores. So let's go back here. If I leave for too long, yep, so let's look. We're starting to eat up into our accumulated charge, so let's just reactivate these cranks. Alright. And let's see, we have a couple of those crank generators, but we're going to need more. So I'm going to make some more, and we are out of fuel here, see? So we need to get more fuel into this line. Gosh, that's just... I told you we use so much fuel, we really need even more. So let's actually dig through here. And there's all sorts of stuff on the ground here. We're just going to automatically... we're going to use the mole. The mole, if we're on a flat area, is going to gather a lot of this for us really quickly. But in fact, it might just be faster to walk along here. So we need to gather all these plants. We really like to have the seeds. The seeds are always good. And come on. Here we go. And we really want all this plant matter as fuel. Eventually again, oh I forgot, the vines on the ceiling are fantastic. Gather all these, we're going to quickly get hundreds and hundreds of plant matter. Alright, so we've got almost 4 stacks of plant matter here now. And we can get back here and place all of that so that our iron production does not turn off again. Alright, so also we need all of this plant matter fiber. We're going to want some of that, so we're just going to take that back with us. Eventually our fuel is going to get back out there and these machines are going to get going again. We've got lots of iron building up, that is fantastic. But for now, let's go back to Production Terminal Lima. And again, you'll see why I'm doing this. I guess I'll get rid of that in the middle of the screen. I wasn't even paying attention to those overlays. I apologize if that was driving you crazy on the screen. I just kind of tuned them out for a second. Alright. So we also totally ignored the triangulation
Signal
signal.
triangulated. New location added to HUD. Beware of current.
Alright, so I think we actually, oh, HA, so we'll eventually go explore that, but if we look here at the echolocator map, we have a really high ceiling in this area, and so just to get going, it's really nice to have a high ceiling here. So I'm going to clear out a little bit of space here, and we're actually going to use this area to do some research cores. As always, these lamps are in the way. We'll get rid of them. Alright, so this is going to be a good area. We are going to place this core composer in this area. And it's going to go right there.
Task inbound. Core composer. Supply with research cores via belts and inserters for automatic placement and availability.
So we need to give it power, so we're going to get some power floors going that way. And then, of course, we actually have to produce the power. So we'll just do that along here. I think we need to be a little bit... The core composers have a little bit of a space requirement. They don't want you to be too close. So let's go in here and we'll build a little tunnel for our power generation. And we'll build some power floors along here. And we will connect these. Oh, look at that. That was totally by accident, but that worked out nicely. So let's place these crank generators. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's all we can fit. Alright. So, let's hit E, activate that crank, and then let's get some more power floors. Also, we're just going to need to produce a whole bunch more power floors. We're about to automate production of power floors. I promise. I keep saying it. It's going to happen. Let's just get some power floors here. Now, you see I only have the entire bottom of this doesn't have to be covered to get power to it. So I'm going to actually start saving some power floors here by only building them in looser grids. So what we need here first is we're going to build... where do we want to build this? Let's build it over on the side so it's out of the way. We can only build stuff so close. So if I put some inserters here, and then I put these cores that we have, the inserters are going to put the cores inside the core composer, and now the core composer is going to automatically place them for us. It'll take a second. It only places every so many seconds, but we're about to see all those appear. And so now we have, if we go to T, we have those cores available. And what we really want is the assembler. So now we have enough cores to make our assembler. And the assembler is really, really what we want here. So if we now look, we're going to actually automate research core production. So what do we need for research cores? We see we need 4 copper wires and 8 mechanical components. We can see that raw materials costs us 10 copper bars and 16 iron bars, or ingots. Now we could craft this by hand, but instead it's a lot easier if we use assemblers. So I will show you how we use assemblers now. I think I'm going to put my... Oh, the other side of the map just turned off. That's okay. We don't need to go back there quite yet. So let's get our assemblers going. We're going to need at least 4. We'll make like 6. Alright, so we now have assemblers available to us. So what I'm going to do is show you also, let's see, if we look at our tech tree under transportation, we really want this hover pack. But we'll get there as soon as we have enough cores. So what we're going to do is we are going to automate the production of research cores. You know what? I said I was going to be not use all my power 4s, but screw it. I'm just going to place them down. We have this big open area now for production. Alright, so let's start placing some assemblers, and I'll show you what we're going to do. So on this side, we're going to use some assemblers to make copper wires. So let's start by getting some copper wire or copper bars up. We'll just bring this along. So again, we don't have to have power 4s under this. I just like to. So alright, and in fact, let's just move this. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put some inserters facing out. So now this is why I have this little buffer chest, so that you know, we're going to end up consuming less copper than we're using, so the extra copper just stays in the chest. But now we have this little belt of copper coming up. Let's extend that a little bit along. And the first thing we're going to do is we are going to put an assembler there, an assembler there, and these are both actually going to produce copper wire. And if I put an inserter going into them, now we see they're going to take that copper, and this is automatically producing copper wire. We can see it come along there. And then for now, just so that we keep things going, I'm going to have it placed into a chest, just so that the output keeps... Oh, I'm out of inserters. Look at that. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Alright, once this inserter is made, there we go. So now we are producing copper wires, which if we look at the research cores, we need copper wires, and then we see the next thing we need is mechanical components. So if we look at mechanical components, which is under intermediates, it's all the way down here, we need just copper ingots and iron ingots. So we are going to build some more assemblers. We'll put one here, and then we will put a second one. We're going to space this one out, and I'll show you in a second why we're spacing it out. And these we're going to assign to mechanical components. And then they each... So now also let's take a look here. If we see this assembler... Oh, we ran out of power. We've been going for a little bit here. We'll just reactivate. Alright, so this assembler is consuming 2.5 copper bars per minute and producing 15 copper wire per minute. So this one is, again, the same recipe. So we're consuming right now 5 copper ingots per minute. The assembler here is consuming 7.5 copper per minute. So we're fine using these regular inserters. And so in total, that's 7.5, 7.5, 2.5, 2.5. We're consuming 20 copper bars per minute. So in fact, I actually only need one of these inserters, but for now I'm going to keep them there. That's okay. So we are consuming our copper now. Now we need some iron. So this setup, I don't really like this. As you can see, this is not the best setup here because it's going to be hard to access our iron. So let's fix that. You know, I remember now what I was planning on doing is I was going to send the iron out this way, and then I thought I did this before. Maybe I did this over at Victor. But what we're going to do here is send our copper or our iron this way. And again, I'm going to do a buffer. So let's build it here. I can send that way. 1, 2, and in fact, let's do it this way, just so our belt has less distance to travel. Oops. Also, I can already see I need more inserters. We always need more inserters. 1. Waiting on that last inserter. Alright, so now we have a copper line, or an iron line. We can bring our iron line in, and which way do we want to do it? We'll do it this way. I'm going to pause that here. So we're going to have some output of these. So the output of these is going to go this way. So these are now producing their mechanical components. They're not doing anything yet because they don't have that iron. That's alright. And then I'm actually going to send that this way. And then my iron, I'm going to bring it down along here. And then... Alright, so now these are each going to grab iron from this belt. And... whoops. There we go. And that needs to go face that way. We'll just give this a little bit of extra iron just to get it going. So now we can see my irons coming along here. And I also am almost ready to pump the copper wires where I need them as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright. And we're going to bring that... You know what? We'll pause that here for a second. I keep double jumping because I'm eventually going to be able to use the hover pack. But let's place one more inserter here. And this inserter is going to grab... Well, first of all, this one's going to be making purple research cores. And let's just look at the rates. It requires 15 iron, or 15 copper wire per minute. And one of these assemblers is producing 15, so that's why this one is going to send its output here. And then it requires 30 mechanical components per minute, and each one of these mechanical components is producing 15. So we're going to want 2 inputs here, because each one of these has a yellow inserter or a regular inserter pushing stuff on the output side, so now these are going to put those on the input side. And then here, this is going to be my copper wire. I send my copper wire along, and he's going to have an inserter going in that way. And then now, instead of putting my copper wire from this assembler into this chest where we've already accumulated a good amount, now he's going to put his copper wire on here. So now, this assembler is getting all the copper wire and all the mechanical components it needs to output these purple research cores. And then, we'll just send these purple research cores over here. That is going out. That. And so now, we got these first couple copper wires, so we see we are producing our purple research cores, and let's just watch this go. Also, I think plant matter... Oh no, this one has plenty of plant matter. We should be fine for a little bit. But we did run out of power. That is going to happen from time to time. Let's activate that crank. And we can see we're way overproducing on power here. That's okay. But now, this one produced its first 2 research cores. They're traveling along the belt here. He's going to pick them up, put them in there, and they're immediately going to get sent in here. We really don't need both of these lines, so we'll get some inserters back. We could just directly feed these into the core composer. The reason I'm not is because eventually this is going to reach the ceiling and it's going to stop placing them. And instead of having this whole system back up, instead they're going to just end up overflowing into this storage. So now we have purple research that's automatically being created for us. We're up to 7. The next thing I'm going to do is get this hover pack once we have 10. And now you can see, so not only are we producing copper and iron here, now we're producing purple research. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, I keep saying we're going to automate power floors. We are. So I think I forgot to ever put those inside here. But what we're going to do is we're going to build another assembler. This assembler is going to take the copper wires from here, and we're going to make power floors. Now this inputs, if we see the input there, it takes on the bottom left 15 copper wire per minute, which is exactly what this assembler is producing. So we just need 1 inserter feeding that, and then we need some iron. It's going to take 30 iron per minute. Right now, let's see how much iron we're consuming. This one is eating up 15 per minute. That one is eating up 15 per minute. So plus 15 plus 15 plus 30. That's a total of 60 iron per minute. We only have 2 feedings. That's only 40 iron per minute coming out. So we actually need more feeding in. I don't think it'll let us put the little box right there. So let's have 2 more of those. And actually, let's look at the amount we're producing. We are only producing 45 iron per per minute. So actually we're not even producing enough iron yet. That's okay, we're about to upgrade our drill speed. I'll just put an extra one of these in here, an extra stack for now. We'll be fine. So now we just need to tap into our iron line, and we're going to send our iron line over here. We need two inserters worth of space, so let's make a couple more of these. Alright, almost done making that last inserter. So now we are making power floors automatically, which means we need somewhere for those to go. So let's place a chest down, and look at the rate. This is making 150 per minute. That's so many. So to make sure we get all those, we actually need a little bit more space here. Oops. So we have some fast inserters. We're just going to use our fast inserters. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll have these travel along here, and we can place our output here. You know what, actually this is a waste. We can have two fast inserters just feeding them in directly. Boom, boom. I'll save ourselves two fast inserters. And then we can have two more fast inserters there. So we can just actually get rid of that extra little bit of belt. And look at that. Now we have a whole bunch of power floors automatically being created. So every time we come back here to kind of check in on the progress, we can pick up on some of these power floors. Let's not forget to activate our crank. So now we have automatic purple research. Look at that. Our core composer is placing these cores. And in fact, if we hit T, we've got over 31 now. So let's activate the hover pack. Let's activate suit speed. Oh, the suit speed is nice.
Hover pack. Increases standard altitude for enhanced planning and exploration.
Alright, so we're going to build this hover pack. We need 10 mechanical components and 10 electrical components. We picked up some electrical components somewhere in a chest. There they are. We don't have enough mechanical components yet, so let's get some more of those. And now we are building our hover pack. And the hover pack is so nice.
Hover
as long
pack
as it's
equipped.
in our inventory.
Jump twice in rapid succession to initiate liftoff.
Where is it? Where is our hover pack? Maybe it doesn't show up in... Oh, there it is. Alright. So now if I jump twice, I can hover along here. And this is so nice for helping set up layouts. It's a really nice view. And here we can see now, we can just get a better view of what's going on here. We have our copper wire flowing into this machine. We have our mechanical components. And again, these are producing at the perfect ratios. So we're producing a total of 30 mechanical components per minute. And this is consuming 30. This is producing 15 of the wires we need here, and this one is consuming 15 of the wires here. So this is just a nice little layout that is going to produce our purple research for us, and it's going to be giving us some extra power floors. Look at all those power floors we've got for no extra work anymore. So let's just quickly check the tech tree before we end this episode. So there's a number of things here. Pack size 2, this is a really useful one. We really need that one. Synthesis, limestone extraction, there's lots of stuff that we need here, but I really think the important ones, it's going to be the drilling speed and the smelting speed. That's going to make sure that we're actually producing enough iron for this setup here, because again, we're consuming 60 iron per minute, and we're right now only producing 45, but as soon as we upgrade our smelters and our drills, then we're going to be producing enough iron. But with that, now that we have some research automated and some power floor production automated, let's end this episode.